Whoa.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? It is a Friday, and you know what that means. It's another episode of Millennial, Billy and Mel. What is going on, guys? And guess what? Mel is back from her trip to Miami, or from Miami, and so she was at a major conference, and so we actually did our last live. If you check that out, she was actually there on site. There it is, 10X, right? And so she's actually this is another special episode of Millennial because we have some really cool guests today, some guests that she was actually down there with. So Rob and Kelly are going to jump on here in a second, and Mel's going to take a second to introduce them because she knows that those guys and was hanging out with them. So, but Mel, what is going on? How's your week been? And then obviously let's introduce these guys and get them on.
Well, it's been a nightmare, actually. Come back on this high. I was just texting with Kelly and Rob. I was like, come back on this high. And it's like we come back to gray central Pennsylvania. I got a flat tire, but I turned it into a positive. I test drove another car, and I turned it upside down. So it's been very busy, but it's good. There's been a lot of new orders and new jobs, and I feel like it's all coming. And I just gotta, I gotta get some processes in place with some of the things that we talked about in Florida. The conference was great, and I'm ready to yell about it.
Awesome. So without further ado, we're going to bring on our special guest today. I'm really excited about this because this is really the first time I get to talk to him. But like I said, I get to see not only your experience, but their experience. So without further ado, I'm going to bring them both on. Yes. Rob and Kelly, what is going on?
What's up?
I'm going to put you on the... So now it's guys versus girls.
One side was on the other.
I figured you would want to be on the nice pink side, and Rob, you'd be on the blue side, the manly color over here, right? So you got to represent. So, but thank you guys so much for coming on. I really do appreciate it coming on our show today. So really, what I kind of want to do, because obviously there are some people that are going to be watching this that don't know who you are, and so I would love for you to just take a couple minutes just to tell us a little bit about each other or about you guys.
You want to go first, honey?
No, go ahead.
All right, so I'm Rob Ruth. This is my wife, Kelly, on the other side. We've actually known Mel for quite some time. We've been friends. I'm a car dealer. I own Bob Ruth Ford here in Dillsburg, PA. We just spent the weekend with Mel in Miami at 10X Growth Conference, which I've been involved with for a few years with the Cardone, the whole family. I've been to their office. I've seen the energy. I'm bought in. I love the 10X rule. I kind of got Kelly involved with some things, but yes. So that's a little bit about us. We've been married for almost 19 years. We have 3 children. Wow. We're busy people. We got a lot going on. We like that. That's kind of, we're 10Xing life right now in all aspects.
Oh yes, we are.
Yeah. So that's a quick story of our backstory.
Awesome.
Yeah, and like Rob said, we've been married 19 years. For the first portion of our marriage, I was a stay-at-home mom, and he was kind of doing, grinding at the dealership. And just a few years ago, I launched my own blog called 40 Young. So I've been doing that the last couple of years, although it's kind of been put on the back burner just a little bit, just because of the last year and our kids not going to school. So.
Awesome, guys. It's like I said, I know you guys know Mel for a long time, and so I'm really appreciative of getting to have a conversation with you. Robbie, if you don't mind me asking before we get into all the 10X stuff, how long have you owned your own dealership? Have you guys done that?
Well, it's been in my family for 37 years. I'm sitting in my office, which was a kitchen when I was a kid. My dad and I actually lived here, so I've been involved in the car business since birth, to be honest with you, but I full-time since the year 2000. I've been a partner. I was a partner from 2005, and then my father passed away in 2017. So, Kelly and I bought out the company from his estate, and, it's what I do. It's really, the only business I've really been involved with.
It's a lifestyle, not a job.
Yeah, right.
That's awesome. And then Kelly, tell me a little bit about your your blog. I want to know about that too.
Yeah. So I was a super young mom. I had my first daughter at 18. So from that point on, I mean, I waited tables. I graduated from college. And then once Rob and I got married and had our own kids, we decided that I was going to stay home and he was going to work because the demands of the dealership are plenty. So I decided to stay home. And then shortly before my 40th birthday, I noticed kind of this like untapped market of 40 plus women that either had like older children or kind of were looking for themselves or trying to refine themselves in midlife. And so I decided to launch 40 Young. And it's all about, I mean, it's got a little health, it's got a little wellness, it's about relationships and parenting and marriage. And it's got a little bit of everything in there. I kind of want to appeal to a little bit of a younger reader by trying to impart some of my wisdom that I've gained, in the last, in my lifetime. And also, hoping to resonate with those readers that are close to my age and are just looking for a little bit more out of life. They're not sure what they're missing, or maybe they're trying to find themselves for the first time, or just trying to re-find themselves after motherhood and being a stay-at-home mom and, working or helping your spouse in their career, or whatever that is. So.
Awesome.
I think that's why we even, like the whole podcast thing came about was obviously it was approached, but I think it was to just try to share our stories and help people and inspire people and, people that are going through things that just don't want to feel alone. And luckily I found Billy through the Facebook group during COVID. And, and I think both of what you guys are doing, and we'll talk about on, even on social media for the business, but for your personal lives. And then, for your blog and everything, are doing exactly that. I mean, you're making things relevant, but also relatable to people and making them feel comfortable. Even just on the dealership side, I had the experience where my credit was really bad and I was embarrassed and scared. And I came to you guys and was like, I don't know what to do. And hey, Rob was like, we'll help you, and that's a whole other story. But Brandon's great. And, it really gave me confidence. And just because of the things that you have made your mission on your social media, and what you're doing for the business and your blog, it's kind of like the same thing, but I think it's
so important for people on the outside when you are, someone that owns a business or is prominent in your community. I think it's so important for people outside of that to see you as humans, and that we're not perfect and that we make mistakes, but we get up and we keep trying and we keep going. And I think sometimes people view us as like, we have the world, by its ass, and we're just kind of like, we got it all figured out. And we don't. We're on a mission to kind of just get better every day. And so we just keep going, and we share those failures with people so that it resonates to them and go, oh, I mean, they're not perfect either. Like, look where they are, but look where they came from. And I can do that too.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think too, the social media thing, you get to know people. You feel like you know them even if you don't know them. It makes people feel more comfortable. And from a business standpoint, we just try to show our culture, show what we do, get to know our employees. And then when people come in, it's like, oh man, I already know you. I see you all the time. And it's like an introduction without an introduction. So it's not awkward. Once they know you, then maybe they like you, and then they begin to trust you as you go forward. So it's an opportunity.
Yeah, that's awesome, guys. And so let me ask this, because I want to get into 10X, right? Because like I said, I've read the book. Mel's got the book over there somewhere. I had to point to the right direction. So Mel's got the book behind her, and like I said, I love the book. I love Grand Cardone and what he does. I don't always use a lot of what he does, but I definitely take a lot of, the simple things. And, he often talks about, just activity will solve a lot of problems. And so why did all three of you, and you, Rob, we can start with you. Why 10X? Why did you want to go to that conference?
Well, it wasn't just that conference for me. I think the whole mindset behind 10X is to take responsibility for yourself. Get past that victim mentality. And the only thing stopping you really is yourself, okay? And to take action and take ownership of your circumstances and not play that blame game, or like I said, the victim mentality, and move forward. If you want something, go get it. And I think that's Grant's message. He started in the car business just like I did, okay? And that guy, when I first started way back in the late 90s, I remember watching videotapes of Grand Cardone that are ancient. And he was a salesperson, and he was just training car dealers. That's his story. He started a consulting business where he helped train salespeople to become better. Now, he got to a point, and that guy's so forward thinking and he thinks ahead, where in our industry, he was ahead of his time and no one wanted to hear his message because he was about transparency. He's about giving information. He's about, not having resistance. And car dealers didn't want to hear that. So he expanded. He didn't let that become like, oh, well, now what do I do? The car dealers aren't listening to us. He expanded. He got into real estate. He got into helping people in other industries. And I just watched this guy just grow and grow and grow. And I was inspired by him. I'm like, wow, look at where he's come from. Look at what he's done. Look how many people he's able to help, way beyond just small thinking. So that's what got me into 10X.
Awesome. Kelly, what about you?
Well, Rob had read 10X, and then I had always heard about Grand Cardone because Rob would watch his videos all the time. Like, we're getting ready in the morning, and I hear Grant's voice. And then he ended up signing up to do some training with Cardone University through the dealership. And then we actually went to our first GrowthCon last year. So after that, I was kind of all bought in on his philosophies and kind of his thought process. It's really just, like Rob said, it's really just about, 10Xing everything in your life and kind of not like being content with just 2Xing your life. Like, some people would say, oh, we're very content with this, our house and our this and our that. And that's fine, for some people, but there's a group of us that aren't content with that. And those are 10Xers. Those are the people that want to do more, make more money. And with that comes being able to help other people. And I think that's the part of the puzzle that a lot of people forget when they see Grand Cardone or they see us 10Xers out, and they just think it's money, greed. And it's not really just about that. It's really being able to 10X your community. It's really about being able to 10X your kids' schools with donations. The list goes on and on and on. You can't, one of Grant's famous saying is broke people can't help people. So, if you really want to help your community and you really want to help your family and those you love and the people around you, you need money to do that. That's the way of the world. Whether it's right or wrong, it's somewhat it doesn't really matter. You need money to help other people. And so that I was kind of all in after last year seeing GrowthCon. It was great. And this year was even, I thought it was 10X because, it's the first big conference after, the COVID hysteria, and it was
in the country.
Right.
Yeah.
Only one, yeah.
Yeah, it was just, the room was electric. I can't even explain it. There were handshakes and hugs and, close-knit talking. And it was just, the room was amazing. It was better than last year because of what we had been through in this past year. So.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mel?
Yeah, it's funny to hear because there were 30-something thousand people last year in the room, and to hear that it was even, better, or like to compare your experiences. For me, I got the book. You had talked about the book, and actually Billy had a goal to read a book a month, and I hate reading. And I just felt, I really got to do something here and start reading. And he started posting all these books that he was reading, and that one really caught my eye. And I just think I looked at it. I looked at a couple ones, and I was like, what's going to be my first one? I'm going to set a goal to start reading again. And I love self-help books and motivation and all that. And I ordered it. I ordered the 2 bracelets that came with it, because also with my sister going through her stuff, it was no negativity. Don't be a little bitch. Like, I was like, this is great. And it was just at a time in my life too that I knew what I needed to do. I know I need help. I need to ask for help. I need, I'm growing as a person, as a business, all this. And I just sort of needed a team. And I feel like I got the book. I started reading it. I hopped onto I bought the conference ticket. I was going to do it virtual. And then I said, screw it, I'm going live. So I upgraded to the VIP, which I was like, oh, I'm VIP, baby. And these guys are Diamond. So we're joking at the thing. I'm like, let me go sit with my peasants in the back. They were like,
next year you'll be in those Diamond seats with us.
I'm there. I'm there, but there
That's
were
a 10x goal. There you go.
back in the VIP section, but yeah, I started going on Monday nights and Tuesday nights. There was the I guess it was 10X. There was Owners Live, and then there's another one on Monday nights. I was really honestly dedicated. I would be rushing home, or I'd be on my phone. I'd be driving to pick up stuff, and I was listening every Monday night and Tuesdays, 7:00. And then I started doing one of the other ones just to get ready and just to get started. I just wanted to listen and learn, and I learned so much just for a couple weeks prior. I made the little chocolate bars, you guys. I was hawking chocolate, Hershey chocolate. You should
That was great.
They were dying laughing. I'm like, yeah, you want some chocolate? But I gave them out to couple people. And I don't know if you saw my story. Swan Sit emailed me at 1:30 this morning as I was still working till 2:00. She actually said, thanks for the chocolate. They were like, hit the spot. It was so nice meeting you.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's cool. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
but anyway, so I just feel like I needed something to, a team. I've always worked by myself, and it's lonely. And I feel like I'm not an average person. I'm not an average worker. I put 200% in my relationships, my work, the community. I want to give back just like you guys. And I feel like I want to surround myself with more people. And, unfortunately, that community isn't that huge in central Pennsylvania or this area. And if it's not here, I just feel like you got to go look for it. And I found it. So
I think
awesome.
what you said there's this mentality that average is okay. But nobody wants to be average. Nobody wants to be average. So, my thing, having that group and having the mentors involved there, right? Average is not a good thing. Okay. So learning from people that have done more or things that you're interested in that also want to help you move faster, that's why I go. I want to be surrounded by people that have done way more than I can or may have dreamed of, and I want to learn from them, and I want to bring it back into my world and my circle of people, and then also help them as well. So that was a big turning point for me. My father passed away 3 years ago, and I was in search of a mentor. I mean, I just was looking for guidance. I felt very alone, like you said, Mel. And then just being around people like that helped me move forward, made me think of what's ahead of me instead of maybe the past.
Well, yeah, even though Mel said she was like in the VIP section, the people that go, those VIP tickets aren't cheap regardless.
Yeah, not at all.
So the people that are there really want to go there to invest in themselves or in their businesses or their family or whatever it is. And so you're surrounded by people that want to do more, like just like you. And it's not, your family or your friends or whoever that's just, always moaning and groaning and always complaining about things and, always thinking there's nothing better than what is right now. And so when you're in a room filled with those kind of people, it really does just kind of give you a little push, a little motivation, a little, self-discipline to go back and kind of apply the things you learn. So.
No, I loved what you guys said. And I do remember that part of the book, him talking about average. And I remember watching one of his videos one time, and he talked about, obviously there's that saying, if you hang around, who you hang around with is who you're going to be, right? Is who you're going to become. And he said something really, really, because that's what I did this year was, I didn't go to any of the stuff that you guys went to, but I read that book and I looked at all my production from last year, right? And I said, I'm just going to 10X this thing. Like I'm 10Xing everything. And so the numbers are extremely high, right? But he talked about, like you guys said, making yourself feel uncomfortable and putting yourself in a situation where the people that you're surrounding yourself are probably at a different spot than you, And so he said something to the effect of like, hey, if you want to make $100,000 in a year, surround yourself with those types of people. Surround yourself with the people that are doing that, because there's two things that are going to happen. Either you're going to quit and you're going to fold up shop and you're going to leave, right? Or you're going to rise to the occasion. And so I love what you said there about not being average, because most people, right, that's good enough for them, but that's not good enough for us.
Right,
anyways.
It never has been for me. Who doesn't want to do more and impact more people? I don't understand the mentality of being average. That's a very depressing feeling to me. I want to, I want to reach my potential, and I don't even know what that is. So I might as well go for it.
And I don't think that should be confused with thinking that you're better than other people,
No.
or that you're super vain or whatever that is. It's just, you want to reach like Rob said, you want to reach your full potential. So to do that, you're going to have to get, like you said, Billy, you're going to have to get uncomfortable. Like, that's just a fact. I deal with this a lot. I'm in the health and fitness industry, and I deal with this a lot with people that want to lose weight. They want to lose weight, but they only want to work out once a week. They don't want to change their diet. They don't want to take supplements. They don't want to go to bed earlier and get up early to go to the gym. Well, then you're not going to lose weight.
You don't really want to lose weight.
Right. You're going to have to get uncomfortable. You're going to have to get up at 5 a.m. If your kids keep you busy all day and that's the only time you can work out, well, that's you're uncomfortable, and you're going to have to get uncomfortable with it. And too many people are just not okay with being uncomfortable, and they're not okay taking a little bit of risk to have a huge reward, or maybe a huge risk to have a huge reward. Like, life is risky, and you're going to have to make those big jumps to get to that next level.
That's totally right. I mean, it's just funny. It's like people, I saw something yesterday that was talking about the gym, and it was just like, there's nothing wrong with the gym. The gym works. What's wrong with the gym is the people that go to it, because they don't do what they're supposed to do, or they don't show up. And it's just like with everything with the 10X, right? If you don't do it, you can read about it, right? But if you don't apply it to your life, what's the point, right?
It's that massive action thing. You got to take massive action, not just like a little, okay, well, I'm going to go do 4 sit-ups and call it a day. It's massive action, like Grand Cardone always talks about. You should take massive action if you want to see massive results. Yeah,
it's funny because whenever I get in a rut, and you guys can talk about this if you want, but whenever I get in a rut, because we're all human. We all things happen, life happens, and we all get into a rut, right? And so it's like, I was like, man, I literally last week, that was me. I felt like I was in quicksand, right? Like, no matter how hard I moved or how fast or whatever, I just felt like I was just in quicksand. And I just literally came to my head was like, what would Grant do in this situation? More action is what activity.
He'd go to the gym, he'd go for a walk, he'd walk and talk on his phone or whatever, Sometimes just getting moving is a good thing.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, it's funny because this was my first experience there, and obviously I watched a lot of videos. I watched him live, I listened, I laughed at him. He would say stuff and he laughs at himself, but he knows it's true because he's probably said it to himself and thousands of people. And there were things that he would say, and he would laugh, and I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm like, that's so true,
Right.
It definitely, anyway. So what I wanted to say about the whole thing about giving back to the community, I was just having this conversation this morning with somebody about the conference and certain things and what I took from it. And, I've always given back in my time and my work and my talent. And, when I want to donate money and here and there, I can. But I put on my vision board before I went down, I showed you, Kelly, that one of the things was charity. Oh, I went hard. I went like,
Awesome. I loved it.
20X on that vision board. But on it it's change, and it's a little jar, and it says charity. And, I think that sentiment really resonated with me at the conference. Everyone there had talked about making money to help people and to change people's lives and to teach them and to, every speaker there, not every, but most of them had some type of a foundation, had something where they started a charity. And it takes money to do all that stuff. But I think for the most part, I was saying, we're here to make an impact. We want to do good. We want to help people. And I think that there's a lot of things that I've wanted to do too, that it takes money. And I think that when you get to a certain point, you can help so many more people that way. And I think that makes it a difference too, because it's not there was things okay about the helicopter and about money and about this, but maybe this much, maybe a 5% or less. There was so much more about giving back and helping people. And it wasn't, and that's where a lot of people might, you said, be confused or think it's greed or it's this or money. And honestly, like 90% of it had nothing to do with that, or 95, you know what I mean?
I think Rob can talk to this about helping employees too.
I think, okay, you need resources to help people, right? Money doesn't make people happy. You could dump $100 million on my desk here right now, and I might be excited, but what can I do with that? What you do with that is what is fulfilling, and how many other people you can impact. I mean, me as a father, I mean, look what I could do for my family. As a business owner, how I could impact, we have 130 employees here. So, and that's 100, maybe 100 families. I mean, I look at things a little bit different. And if I'm not focused on moving forward and 10Xing things, then I'm telling them to be average. Does that make sense? So I want to lead by example with that. And that's what I even love about Grant. That guy doesn't have to do a tenth of what he does. He doesn't even have the 1X at this point in time. And he's 63 years old, okay? And he's 10Xing every day. And the things, I don't know how I could even keep up with that guy, to be honest.
He has more energy than a 20-year-old.
Well, they were saying too
but
about
he has things he wants to accomplish, and that's why he has that energy, because he's so goal-driven. He wants to impact 1 million people, and that to me, I can really relate with that, because that's fulfilling to me.
I want to share.
He doesn't make you happy.
We have a couple comments that we didn't get to share yet that people are listening, but thanks guys for hopping on. And she said, help more people get more wood.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
I mean, I see it every day with people here, and when they're doing good things and they're going forward and they're productive, then they're able to change their life. That to me is like, that's the most exciting thing that I get to do in my career and so forth. And I want more of it.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to see more successful people.
I do.
Brandon's one of our top #1 fans. Every journey starts with a single step. It does. I mean, it does. It's like just getting the book, reading the book, and then I wanted more. And then, and then learn. And then I've made significant changes, even just in cutting stuff out. I canceled meetings, people that, wanted me to volunteer, volunteers. Like, I already have my commitments. I'm sorry. I can't, and I have to say no. And I have to focus on the things that that I wanted to take away. And Dylan went, hustle hard. What's up, Dylan? Thanks, Dylan. Honey.
So I'll say another thing too. So when I went down to them at first, I was just in this place where I knew I wanted to grow, but I felt stuck. And I had grinded for so long. Just, let's work 100 hours a week and do what you got to do. And I was just like, oh my God, I was exhausted. So I went down and I went to Brandon Dawson, who's a partner of Grant's, and he just taught me how to look at things different. And it really opened up my eyes considerably. And I started making changes here and in our company. And we took what we used to do and we just changed the way we did it. And we had this rapid growth in 2019. And it was just so exciting. And right before COVID, in the last 10X, I was on stage talking about that growth that we had the year before. So we
you were on the stage last year?
Yeah,
In front of the 30,000 people.
Yeah, in front of, I think it was 12,000 people.
I was gonna see if they were gonna have you come up this year.
No, I was on stage in 2020
In Las Vegas.
in Las Vegas.
Cool. 30,000 people
at Mandalay Bay, talking about how I found Grant, how I found Brandon, the things that we did, and it was just amazing, and it did impact a lot of people. And then COVID happened, and it was like, oh my God.
Unfortunately, like a week after we got home,
we get home,
it was definitely like
the government literally said you can't do what you do anymore, and I'm like, total fear mode. Okay, like, oh my gosh, now what do we do? So we had to make some really tough choices, and now we've really kind of 10Xing things again and like making the changes we need to make for, moving forward.
I actually have a question. I don't interrupt. Do you think you would have done what you did during COVID if you hadn't already gone to the conference?
No, probably not. Like,
That's
what do you
crazy,
mean? What do you mean? What?
Well, how you reacted, how you adapted or pivot or pushed through and worked hard and did what you did. Like, I mean, there are businesses that closed, that failed, that people, couldn't.
we're in a bit of survival mode in that moment, I think. I mean,
Survival mode. It was just all creativity. I mean, my brain hasn't stopped working for a year. I'm like, okay, what are we going to do? We've got to pivot rapidly, fast.
very quickly.
If you hadn't done this stuff before, do you think you would have made the same decisions? Or
It would have been in a different place.
I think it gave me the mindset of,
Right.
you can do this no matter what.
Yeah.
Even if
That's what I'm saying. I think, yeah.
Failure really wasn't an option. I wasn't going to quit.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, I love that. And that's the same thing and it's funny, Rob, that you were talking about, like, obviously that he shifted your mindset and that it led to where you are today, especially through the pandemic. And it was funny, like, I actually, I always knew who Grant Cardone was. Like, you know who Grant Cardone is, even if you don't listen to his stuff, even if you don't like him. Because let's be honest, sometimes if you watch his videos, he can seem quite abrasive. But
I love his abrasiveness, though.
I do too.
Kind of annoying me, but now I believe it.
But I love how he's, like, exactly where he stands. And that's the people I like to be around. I don't want to be around somebody that's like, you're always thinking about what they're doing behind the scenes. Like, exactly. And I don't even know Grant Cardone like you guys do, because you had the opportunity to meet him and stuff like that. And so that's what I want to kind of know is like, is he like that all the time? Like, is that his personality, or,
He is. And so is his environment. That to me was more impressive than anything when I actually, because you can see a lot of things are for show and you don't know what to believe. Like, who is this guy? I love the message more than it's not just him as a person. It's just what he teaches. Okay. So I was curious. I went down to Miami. I got involved with, I met the whole team. Okay. They had these morning meetings every day, and Grant wasn't even there. And it was just electrifying. And I'm like, holy shit, like this is awesome. I got to take this back to Dillsburg. You know what I mean? Like, we need to get our team pumped up. They need to be excited about the future. We need to put a real plan together on how we're going to grow.
Yeah, we've been to the office a couple of times, and every time we're in there, it's like handshakes and high fives and hey guys, what's up? And everybody's like, they have like a kind of like a war room setting. I mean, everyone is like pumped and excited to be there, and they want to help their customers, and it's an amazing environment,
Yeah, I think we want everyone to succeed. Like, I think that ultimately,
right. He genuinely does.
What I got was the authenticity, and they talked about it a lot, but I could see it. I'm not like, you can't bullshit people, you know what I mean? Like, with being genuine or not. I mean, there's the authenticity and the transparency and the honesty and all that shows through the book, like anything. And I just think that, ultimately in everything that I've seen, they want to help people, and they do. And then those people want to go and help people, and it's like they're changing the world. I know it sounds dumb, but like, it's really, it goes out, obviously. It's spread people and it spreads. Absolutely.
Yeah. But like I was going to say before I asked that question, I found, like, really started watching Grant stuff right when the pandemic hit. And in my business, like, I was just to the point where I was really getting stuff moving too. And it was funny. It was like a week after my birthday, the world shut down. But like, I was really, like, it was crazy. I like had the best month I've ever had in my business. I was killing it. And then, like I said, it shut down. And like you said, you had that moment of, because we're human, you're like, oh crap, what am I going to do now? Kind of like moment. Right. And I was just like, I just looked up and I said, I just need a sign. Right. I just need a sign. And I happened to pop on, I watch something motivational every morning, and Grant was the first thing that was on there. And I watched it, and it was just something, it was about 10X. And he was just like, just whatever you're struggling with, just 10X that and just go run through a wall. And I was just like, all right, that's what I'm going to do. And so I literally, instead of like reversing like some people did, and some people's businesses closed because of that, I just said, no, I'm not going to participate in this. I'm moving forward. Right. And I'm sure that's what he talks a lot about.
100%.
And I think it's important too to point out that, during the whole COVID thing and everything, a lot of people were, like you said, pulling back, but a lot of people were pushing forward. There's like a survival mode, and then there's like okay, now we got to like figure this out to survive. There's a period of a little bit of panic when the government comes in and says you are not allowed to work. I mean, that's kind of one of those things that no matter what you do, that's difficult to overcome. But we came up with a plan to be able to sell cars online, and then we weren't allowed to do that either. And then so we were, fighting the right to be able to do that, finally did. And then, my whole thing has kind of continued on, kind of being a voice amongst a lot of people that are, saying shut down, keep shut down, whatever, blah, 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 for small businesses, just, fighting for those people to be able to stay open and speaking my mind about that. So, and I think that's important in the small business community too, to help each other out. Like, just because you're able to do one thing, there's this whole group that isn't. Like, help those people out, like get their name out there, promote them, call your senators, whatever, to be able to get them to work again too.
Yeah. I wanted to say, I know it's unrelated, about helping other business owners. I wanted to say this, I didn't forget, was when I was posting my pictures, I had so many people commenting, and a lot of business owners here were asking me, what is it? I'm going next year. I can't wait. Like, and just the was making me excited, just that there were other people. It's like, oh, maybe there are more people here that are, want to do more and that. And it was funny. And I said it would be really neat to get a group together to go from Harrisburg.
That would be awesome.
I'm down.
I think you got to be a little bit nuts to have your own business, right? I mean, just to go out on your own and take that risk. Like, people that haven't done it, maybe they look at it from a different perspective. But if you're doing it, you know what I'm talking about. It is very uncomfortable. Almost every day you're at risk. But there's also rewards if you push through those things and you 10x things. And I think there's a lot of business owners out there that struggle with all of what we're talking about that could surely benefit from just being around others that they can relate with and find what's working and what's not working. Because I also love that everyone we listened to speak talked about all the things that didn't work and all the things,
their failures,
all their not failures, mistakes, whatever you want to call them, that they had to go through to get to where they're at. I mean, we billionaires that were, sleeping on a couch 10 years prior of their
$118 in their pocket.
Friends, you know what I mean? So to me, we're all going to face challenges. We're all going to have adversity. Any business owner for sure you're going to face it. It is not, just an easy thing by any means.
Oh yeah. I totally agree. I mean, like, let's be honest. Like, I'd much rather be sitting on a beach somewhere, not doing anything, but I understand too that that's not going to get me to where I want to be, right? Like, where I want to be is like we talk about 10x, right? Like, I want to have a big business. I want all these things, and you're right. It is very difficult, and especially even for people that have been their own boss for a long time. There are days that you get up and you don't want to do what you have to do, but I think that's where the 10x goal really steps in, because it's easy to be motivated when everything's going well, right? Yeah. And it's super easy. But when shit's hitting the fan, it's tough, right?
Rob has some experience with that for sure.
Well,
and
one thing in the 10x too is, he talked about having goals and a clear vision. Okay. And to me, one of the greatest things that I've taken from all that, I literally write my goals down every single day. And Kelly thinks I'm crazy, but I do it every morning, like without exception, every day. And that gets my mind right.
You're crazy.
Well, it's just like, oh, why would I do that? But you get it now after seeing it. It just keeps me focused on a bigger picture instead of getting lost in the daily, oh man, this happened or that happened. There's a reason why you're going to go through those things. And I think everyone needs to know what their own plan and their own vision is for whoever, it impacts.
Yeah. I mean, Kelly, I get up every day at 5 o'clock, get to the gym. And so, one of the things that I do that I completely changed was my complete routine. Like, I don't even look at my phone until, like, the first time I look at my phone is probably like 9:30 in the morning. And I've already been up for 4 hours. And like you said, like Grant talks about, he writes down his goals when he wakes up, before he goes to bed, right? They're always on his mind. And so like I do that too. It's because like when I have a really shitty day and nothing went right, and I'm like, well, why am I doing this, right? Why am I continually taking no's? Why am I getting kicked in the face, right? Why am I getting beat up? I could just go get a job and, work a 9 to 5 and be fine, right? But that's an average life. And so, but when I go to bed at night and I look at, well, I have all these goals I need to hit. and it just fires me up, and I'm just like, all right, I'm ready to get up. Like I don't even need an alarm anymore.
Do you have one of those, Billy?
No, I don't.
You have to order one.
I will. That looks pretty cool. So, but like I said, I do that every day without, and like yesterday, something happened and I ended up missing writing my goals down at night, and I didn't sleep well, and I just didn't end up sleeping well. And I woke up the next day and didn't start the day off really that well. But then I got back into that routine, and it was just, but if you don't do that, that's super simple. Takes 5 minutes, and it'll really set up your day.
Yeah.
I think it's a game changer. I mean, I really do. It'll change your life.
Yeah, and so small and simple.
Right.
Yeah. Because people tend to think small, like we were saying earlier, it's just 10X to me is kind of like not being content with average and wanting to 10X all aspects of your life.
Yeah. And I think, it's not just like you guys were saying, it's not just about money, right? Because you can have all the money in the world, but if your health sucks, your family life sucks, all those things suck. It doesn't matter how much money you have at that point. And
yeah.
It's
Grant also does jokingly kind of talk about like, well, hey, you can be miserable and poor or miserable and rich. I'm going to be miserable and rich,
Yeah,
those things are really great, but money buys you freedom. And in the last year, if you haven't realized that money is important, you're really missing the mark, because when your businesses get shut down and you're not allowed to leave your house, your kids don't go to school, money's really important. When you can't work, when you're not allowed, when the government says you are not allowed to work, money becomes very important. So while money isn't everything, money buys you freedom, it buys you security, and those things are super important to Rob and I, especially with our having young kids and stuff. So our lesson, probably our biggest lesson of the last year, is like, let's go. We need more money, because if that situation ever comes around again, we don't want to be quite as taxed as we were, this past time, and maybe not quite as panicked. So if you're in the mindset that like the government's going to save you, or, you're way off the mark, because they haven't and they're not going to. So you need money to be able to kind of weather those, super big events that are really beyond your control.
Yeah. One of my mentors always tells me, he said, money isn't everything, but money gives you options. And that's what you want, right? You want options. You don't want to be the guy that doesn't have any options. That's what I tell my wife all the time. Like, I never freak out about things, because I'm just like, we have options. We're good. We're good to go.
Exactly.
When you freak out is when you don't have any options.
Right.
That's when you freak out.
And sometimes that means big moves and big changes in your life. A lot of people, are saying, well, my kid can't go to school and we can't do well. You're not a tree. Pick up and move. That's my new famous saying, or move to a new city, or move to a new job, or, pick up and move, meaning move your kids into homeschool, or, whatever options are available to you. There are always options. And I think that was another great lesson of the last 12 months. You kind of come up with options that you'd never even thought of before to help you, get through those tough moments.
Yeah, I was going to say too, and it sounds like a lot of this that we talked about it being, your duty to do your duty and your responsibility. And I don't have kids, I don't, I'm single right now, but it's like, I feel I need to do it for myself and my future family. And even, my family, my sister, I'd love to be able to do, more things. What if things with insurance and, it's out of pocket, and what happens then? So it is like an obligation, like they talk about, it's our responsibility and our duty to, to not only work hard, but I don't know.
Well, that's perfect. Like what you just said, Mel, like I think about it, like when I'm writing down my goals, right. And I think about it's my duty. Like when I married my wife, Megan, I said I was going to take care of her. Like I told her dad, I'm going to take care of her. Right. Like that's what I'm going to do. And so
that's a men deal.
And so that's why, but that I was going to do whatever it took. And I meant what I said. And so, really like the whole 10X mindset is if I don't do this, no one's going to do it for me. Like you said, the government's not going to step in and help. No one's coming in to pay my bills. Like it's all up to me. And that's what I love about being because I came from corporate America. I came, I worked in hotels, hospitality management for many, many years. And and I've been laid off before. I know what it feels like, and it's not fun. And I said to myself, I'm never going to allow someone to have that much control over me. Like if I'm going to be the one, if I'm going to fail, it's going to be because of me, not because I allowed somebody else to allow me to fail, if that makes sense, right?
You want to be in control of your own destiny.
Yeah.
No, and who doesn't want that feeling? Nobody wants to feel like they're being controlled. And, this past year of our life, we all felt very controlled in a lot of things, and it's not a good feeling. And like what Kelly said, I want to make sure I'm on the other side of it for myself, my family, the people that I care about, our business. We need to do everything we can to keep growing and keep moving forward, because we don't want to be a victim of the next COVID or this or that. And you got a 10X. We got a 10X.
Yeah.
Choice. Time to 10X.
So, but I want to know, since you guys, obviously, Mel, we talked about your experience and stuff like that. And so definitely chime in. But I want to know, since this was what you said, your second or your third?
Second
growth con.
So obviously the first one is you're just what is going on, right? It's just everything's kind of just crazy. And then this time you really probably had an opportunity. I mean, it was probably still crazy, but you probably had a little bit more opportunity to kind of take more in because of you've been there before. So tell us what was this second time go around compared to the first time?
You want me to talk, Kel?
Yeah, I can talk about you.
My thing was, it was 2 different years. First of all, 2019, we just had this massive growth. We were Cardone everything, and I was like I said, they had me on stage to talk about that. 2020 and coming after COVID and all that, it was just 2 different. I was more absorbing every little thing this year. I mean, I was really interested because I'm ready to kind of keep moving to another level right now. We kind of came off a high of 2019 when we were there, and this, I don't want to call it a low, but it was wow, what just happened? I want to learn, just searching for knowledge and things to take from it a little bit more this year.
Awesome. Yeah. Kelly, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things where my biggest takeaway from it, or the difference, was I think last year Rob and I were there, we were looking at each other, we were like, can you even believe that we're in the same room with these people, and that we're, we in that moment last year, I think we kind of felt like in a lot of essence we had made it, we were like, wow, everything's firing on all engines, the business is going great, the kids are good, we're really good, blah, blah, blah. And then, obviously 2 weeks later, everything that happened. So I think going into this year, it was more thinking we're never going to think that way again. We're always going to be striving for more and better and more growth. There's always room for growth. And, the thing that I want to say to people, and I said this actually in my Instagram story when we left, is that there'll probably be people seeing this, or people that, watch Grand Cardone and just think, well, that's never going to happen for me. I mean, it's so unrealistic. It's never going to happen for me. And I will tell you, I think out of all the speakers that were on that stage, I think every single one of them came from nothing and is way something right now. People need to understand that your mindset is going to get you where you want to go. If you're constantly telling yourself you're never going to have this, you're never going to make it because, you were born into poverty, or you're this, whatever the reason is, you're already failing before you've even started. The mindset changed to, I don't care where I was born, I don't care if I'm a female, I don't care, all those things, let it go. If you work hard enough, if you make the right choices, you're going to be successful. And sitting around stewing in your excuses about why you can't or what's holding you back is a total waste of energy, and it's like an energy suck. Just go out there and start and do it. Your excuses, the real world doesn't care about the excuses, first of all.
That's my favorite thing.
Your girlfriend might care, your dad might care, your mom might care, but the real world doesn't care about your excuses. You either do it or you don't, and that's the end of it.
I got a surprise for you guys coming, for all you. They weren't ready before the conference, but they're coming, and it has something to do just like that. But I'm not going to ruin the surprise.
Okay, don't ruin the surprise. I hope there's chocolate involved, though.
A shot?
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
I love that. Excuses don't pay the bills, right?
No, they
They
don't.
don't.
So
I mean, listen, and at the end of the day, and I think this is important for everyone to know, like, everyone probably on this video right now has been the victim of something. Like, I mean, I was a very unexpected teen mother. I know Rob's dad passed away a few years ago, very unexpectedly. I've dealt with illnesses. I've dealt with sick, like we all have things that we can kind of hook onto as far as victim mentality goes. But, at the end of the day, they're kind of irrelevant in the big world. I mean, obviously you want to have empathy for people that have been through things and those kind of things. But at the end of the day, you have to look within yourself and say, yes, that happened to me. Deal with that if you need to in any way you need to, whether it's seeing a doctor or whatever that, a psychologist, a counselor. I'm all about that, but then at some point you kind of have to move on and say, okay, this is not going to define my life and I'm going to move on.
Yeah. I love it. I love that. It's just, your circumstances might be something, but no one's special. Everybody at some point in their life is going to experience pain, is going to experience discomfort, is going to experience failure. Like that's the guarantee in life.
We're all going through something,
Right.
Yeah, regardless. And so I think, like you guys have said a bunch of times, like it's the people that decide to say, no, like, I am going to move forward past this. And I'm not only going to just, walk around this thing, I'm going to run through this thing 10X style, right? Like I'm going to go right through the wall.
Yeah.
I think that's an important, if anybody's watching this, it's like, definitely, you might be somewhere in your life that you don't want to be. Doesn't mean you have to stay there.
Right. So true.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's so awesome. So like, so where did they announce there was going to be another one yet? Have they?
Rob and I already have our tickets.
Yeah, we bought tickets already.
That's awesome. Is it in Miami again, or is it in Las Vegas?
Maybe it's going to be in Vegas. That's what
they're not sure.
Yeah. So that would be such an awesome thing to go to. I'm definitely, Mel, I'm definitely down to go to the 10X.
To see you there, Billy. I'm expecting to see you there.
Yeah. We'll do it.
Like I said, I 10X my goals, and so
good for you.
Just add another goal to the list. And
be on that yacht party.
What? People you get around, it's worth every penny. I mean, obviously the speakers are great and that, but actually getting to make those networks and talk to real people and hear their story, you can kind of share ideas and, maybe common struggles, and you get through it. You want to be surrounded with those people.
Yeah, we met people last year that we couldn't wait to see this year. Like they've become good friends. They're the people you can kind of send a message to when you're struggling with something in business or personal life or whatever, and kind of reach out. And they have the same kind of mindset that you do, so they're really good at giving you feedback, because there's something about a friend that will kind of call you out, as opposed to a friend that's always just telling you what a great job you're doing. Like, to me, like a real friend is someone that is there to support you and says, I understand what you're going through, but also someone that's like, okay, you're full of it. Let's go. Like, this is what you got to do. You're saying the same things over and over again. You're making the same choices. You're doing the same things, and you're not changing. So, the best kind of friends are the people that will be honest with you and kind of, know what you're going through, but can connect with you and tell you what to do, and you're not going to get mad.
Yeah. I love that. Accountability is a big thing, and like you said, that's a true friend, when you can laugh with each other and have a good time, but they can also be serious with you and let you know, hey, it's not because I just want to point out your flaws, but I want you to get better. And you guys have talked about that at length, that it's not about just the results. It's about getting better and getting better at your craft, and every day, getting a little bit better. I love that type of stuff.
And that applies to everything. Like, I know some people probably, some women that are stay-at-home moms, or their main role in their family is being a mom, or, Rob's in our family, we know our roles, and that's not in a way of your role, lady. It's like Rob's career and and the dealership is our priority in our relationship. So, if he has to work late and I've been with the kids for the past year, like that is my first role in the way that our family works the best. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think sometimes, in this modern female world, it's a constant thing where it's like, well, you need to work, you need to have kids, you need to do all of these things, and you do all of them perfectly, by the way. And, sometimes, and you were saying this, Billy, about your wife, you were promising to take care of her, whatever. Sometimes those dynamics work for families, and it has worked for our family for a really long time. Now, I wanted to go out and kind of do my own thing, but it was never going to be kind of at the expense of supporting Rob's career or our family life or those things. There was a little bit of a rocky period in there where I really kind of wanted to not leave those responsibilities behind, but what I forgot was my actual role in our family, which I'm very happy doing. Like I do love it, but I think for a short period of time, I wanted to do it all. And you can do it all, you can, but there's always going to be sacrifices with that. And I wasn't willing to sacrifice, being with my kids during this past year, of course, and all the craziness that I felt like they had to mentally deal with. So I've kind of backed off from what I'm doing, and that's okay. Even if you've never worked, if you're a stay-at-home mom, you're still a very important role in your family's,
Absolutely.
life. Your role is just as important as your husband's that works outside of the home. You are doing the work of 10 people. So you can 10x your family life too. It's not always monetary. It's also your family life too. And I think that's important to mention, because I think a lot of women, there's tons of women that go to 10x with their husbands because their husbands understand that they are a pivotal role in their ability to be successful. So I think that's super important to point out.
Oh my God, yeah. Like I would be lost without my wife. Like I would be absolutely lost. And she's a professional. She teaches nursing, so she's gone out of the house a lot of the time. And so, like you said, I think it's about being a team. I think it's the biggest thing. And every team
about that all the time.
Every person on the team has a role to play. And you just got to play your role to the best of your ability and not try. And sometimes when you try to do too much, right, that causes more problems because you're maybe not good at that thing. Like, I'm not always the most organized person, whereas Megan, being a teacher, she's super organized, right? So she helps me get organized in that sense and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I totally agree. It's like, no matter what your role is in a relationship, and me and Mel have talked about this on the podcast before. Everybody has such an important role because she's involved in my business. She's not doing the daily grind, just like you're not selling cars every day, like on the lot. But when I have a tough day or I need confidence or I need a boost, right, or something like that, she's there to pick me up, or she's there to just be involved in the business. So it's not always.
Or she's there to push you a little bit harder.
And she does, believe me. I'll be sometimes there's days where I'm like, man, today really sucked. She said it 2 days ago. I said, man, today really sucked. No, I had 2 appointments cancel on me. I had one guy tell me no 3 times, and she goes, well, suck it up. That's literally what she said to me. I said, did you really just tell me that? And she goes, yeah. And I said, you're right.
I feel like some of Grant and Elena together because they live by that kind of thing. Elena really pushes Grant. I mean, she admits that she does. Sometimes she wonders if she pushes him too hard sometimes, So their relationship is very interesting.
Yeah.
It's good videos to watch.
It's funny that you say that too, because a lot of the issues that I've had in some of my relationships is that I wanted to be a team. I felt that's because I have been alone. I mean, I've had freelancers and admin girls, and I've had I've had people there. I wanted to grow my business, but it is lonely. And I think that it just in the team of the business, and I'm saying I want a team. I want this. It's the same thing with the relationship that I feel looking back. I feel like I didn't have a teammate, it wasn't there. And I think looking forward, that's something that I really will, I want and I need. And I will really appreciate somebody who, like you guys have, both of you have. That's what, I think.
Well, I think, at times it's uncomfortable too, because we need to support things, for Kelly to stay home. And I was gone when the kids were young. I mean, I was working 6 days a week, every hour you can imagine. Okay, so I don't think I really realized that until later on how hard that would have been for her. And I appreciate it so much because it's helped our family get to where she did that role and then I did this role. But then when she wanted to do something, I had to kind of flip. She wanted to start her blog. I'm thinking, oh my God, how am I going to do this? But I had to figure it out. I wanted to support her and I want her to be happy and fulfilled as well. So sometimes you reverse the roles and you have to be a good teammate.
Yeah, the roles kind of evolve and change over time. So now we're kind of rolling back to me settling more into kind of like the stay-at-home mom role, but still maintaining the other things I have going on the side, but just not maybe as furiously as I once was because of the current situation with our kids. And I really just, until they go back to school, I really just want to physically and mentally be there with them and kind of enjoy those moments because they are getting older and they're going away to college. Both of them have been in college in 6 years. So it's just, I just wanted to really appreciate those moments, lately. So.
Yeah. And guys, that's amazing. I love your guys' story. I love that we definitely had an opportunity to get on today and chat. I know we could probably talk for the next 3 hours about Grand Cardone and everything and about life. And we definitely, and I'm going to speak for Mel on this, I definitely want to have you guys on again. Because I think, even though this is we call this the millennial, right? It's just about talking about real world topics, right? That people need to hear. And so we really appreciate you jumping on.
We're going to help you get your own podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, Rob and I have one in the works, actually.
We talked about that.
It's just a matter of actually us being in the same place to record it. So
we can do this. Billy and I haven't been together once.
I know.
Yeah.
So and ours is going to be video too, so they want to see.
You mean like this?
The chemistry and.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it.
It's going to happen. It's coming.
Yeah. Cool. So, but there is like I said, when we get close to the end of the show, typically we do two things. And so you're going to be a part of that. So the first thing that we talk about and I'll give you a little history about this. It's the millennial meme of the week. And so I have a little niece. She's, what is it? A Gen Zer, right? Gen Zer. And she said, well, memes are so millennial. And I said, okay, well, they are, and I like them. So, so every week at the end of the show, we have a millennial meme of the week. And so I usually pop this guy up here and it says the millennial meme of the week. And so it is Mel's turn. So she's going to share her meme of the week. And so you guys are going to be a part of that. So we want to get your reaction. So go ahead, Mel.
All right.
Cheers to the haters.
We love it.
So much more.
It's fuel to the fire, baby.
Leonardo DiCaprio, and he's Great Gatsby, right? He's the meme with him, and it's cheers to my haters, be patient, so much more is coming. I thought that was very fitting, guys.
Perfect.
It is. And there's one other thing we like to do at the end of the show, and we're actually, whenever we have a guest, we give them their moment because right now it's Mel's moment at the end of the show.
It's always about me, okay?
Where she gives some piece of advice, right? Some lasting word to take us through the weekend into the next week, right? So, but we want you guys to share your thoughts too. So leave us a piece of advice for somebody. Maybe somebody's watching this today and saying, hey, last year sucked, right? and I need to do something different. So Rob, take it away. One piece of advice that you could give to somebody that's watching today.
I think the thing is when you're in those moments and things suck, let's say COVID, there's something we all learn from it that is going to make us better. And I think that's you're going to learn from your struggles. You're going to learn from your mistakes more than anything. So don't beat yourself up too hard. Take it and let it propel you forward.
Nice. Kelly, take it away. It's your moment.
I was going to say something very similar. I was actually going to say, kind of like, when you're at the lowest point in your life and you think that things cannot get any worse or, you lost your job, whatever it is, there's always going to be an upside to that if you, take action. So, we've all had those moments in our life where we're just kind of sitting there going like, this is the end of it. Like, I don't know how I can get up another day and I don't know how I can do another thing. And just know that you're learning in those moments when you're at the top coming out of that, you're going to look back and say, I'm grateful for those moments because it taught me so much about who I am and what I'm capable of.
Awesome. I love it. Mel, without further ado, what you got for us?
All same sentiment. I think we should, it's reminds us what we do have and to be grateful for and appreciative for what we do have, and it could always be worse. And I think that you're right. We learn from those experiences and those struggles and those mistakes and those failures, and just take action and stand up and show up, and be there, be present.
Nice.
Love
it. I love it, guys.
I'll take a screenshot. Ready? 1, 2. Wait, I can't do it.
So how do you do it, though?
I can't do it. I'll have to take a screenshot of the video later.
There you go. Thanks for having us on, guys.
Yeah, no, we really do. I really appreciate your time because I know time is very valuable, and so I appreciate you guys coming on and having a conversation with us. I feel like a lot of people got impacted today. A lot of people are going to watch the replay, and they're going to get some great value out of this. So, but like I said, guys, we really appreciate you jumping on and thank you. So
yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Have great days.
Yeah. So, but anyways, guys, if you did get value out of today, let us know. Go follow these guys, right, and see what they're doing and stuff like that. And so, if you need, I'm sure if you need a car, my man Rob here will definitely help you out.
I got you.
He can definitely help you out. So, and then obviously, if you need some, fitness tips, Kel, you can definitely help them out there too. So, but anyways, guys, enjoy your weekend. Go make some good memories with your family. Take some time to plug in and stuff like that. So, anyways, guys, thanks for jumping on, and we'll talk to you guys real soon.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.